So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the only public service watch announcement channel out there that has strong duties to take care, of all my recovering tomato cans, out there. They're here with me and they're recovering already, getting all this information and knowledge. They're smarter now. They're not no more lambones and palomos. So I want to just say I welcome all my tomato recovering cans again. And crayon eaters and possum kickers, cow tippers, crumb bums, sandbags, whatever it is. When I say that, I say with the most love. I don't mean it in a malice or vicious way. So as you know, we are a public service watch announcement, and we try to bring you the truth and nothing but the truth. We talk a little bit about what's happening with precious materials, gold, platinum, palladium, rhodium, silver. We talk a little bit about, what's happening in the world, local news, international news, world news, we talk about that too. And we talk about a watch market update, we give you that too as well. The only thing that we ask, in return from you out there is to give us just give us a thumbs up. If you have a little arthritis, just help yourself, push the button because, the algorithm, it sends us out. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the bottom. If you don't know this, I'm going to tell you, we are at the bottom of the barrel. We are in the bottom of the barrel. It has been an assignment against us. They have an agenda against us. The Bilderbergers have an agenda. You understand me? Bohemian Grove has an agenda, but they have an agenda on this channel. And we welcome it because that's power, Somebody, so you understand what I'm trying to say. You got that guy, Zorro George. Zorro George. Well, he has an agenda and he has people that, are in his payroll, right? And he pays. And then the same thing is with this channel. There are people, their pay, instead of giving you this up, they give you this down, and you go all the way to the bottom of the barrel, I don't know if you guys understood that, but I gave you an unbelievable explanation there with a subliminal message mixed up and everything. All right, guys? So don't feel bad about this channel. We have power. They have to, every time that this comes on, they got to spend money on this channel. Do you understand? Sabotage. All right, so don't forget to give me the thumbs up, all right? Enough of the monkey business here. All right, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about a little bit of precious metal materials. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm licking my chops because, I told you people, don't fall asleep on this. Don't fall asleep, and when it's what happens. You see, I'm not watching the news. I'm watching my, the way those, those things move around. Those, flat line things, they go up, they go down, I'm watching that. And I never had to worry, when it went all the way to $4,400 and then it went down to $39.95. And ladies and gentlemen, it's unbelievable what's happening. I'm going to keep this precious metal for the end. But I'm going to tell you right now, palladium is at $1,459.61. Platinum is at $1,601.61. Rhodium is at $7,929 a troy ounce. But ladies and gentlemen, it's incredible gold, pure gold, 24 karat pure gold is at $4,140 and going up all the way up, going all the way up. It's going all the way up. I mean, I'm just letting you know it's going all the way up, man. It's going to go all the way up, but right behind, which is the sleeper, the sleeper, which is to me, the one, it's going to leave everybody homeless. And nobody's, they're not even putting it around no more in shelves to sell. They're not. They don't put it in shelves. Silver, ladies and gentlemen, silver. You're not gonna believe this, ladies and gentlemen, but silver Silver was at $51.45 the troy ounce. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Blair. I do this. It's going all the way up. It's going all the way up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand that the gold is getting ahead. Gold is listen to me carefully, ladies and gentlemen. Gold is getting ahead of the curve. One more time. Gold is getting ahead of the curve. You know? Or should I say precious material? And you know, every time I do this, I gotta, hype you guys up, get you guys hyped up, because you guys are, skip popping around through life and not believing what I'm telling you. You know what it is, silver, Poppy, silver. Quiet, like no big deal. $51.45 a troy ounce of silver, Poppy, the white stuff. The white stuff, absolutely, we're alive, Brian. We're alive, and we're for real today. So if you have anything to say, put it out there. This is your show. This is your show. You write whatever you want. Don't bully nobody, and don't use any foul language, and you're good to go. You're good to go. But I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, for your information, that this is crazy. Gold, you're not going to believe this because, gold climbs to the best levels since October the 24th. That's all I got to tell you. That's all I got to tell you. Gold climbs to the best levels since October the 24th, Poppy. October the 24th. Poppy, this is getting crazy. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to be smart, ladies and gentlemen. There's things happening all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. I must advise you that there are things happening all over the world. And you guys are thinking, well, how can the watch market be down? How can gold be going up? Papi, it's going up because the dollar está hecho mierda. The dollar es una porquería. The dollar is, schifo. The dollar is no good, NG. So gold is going to keep on going up, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand what I'm trying to tell you, Papi. People don't want to believe this, but you have to hear what's happening, in the news. These people tell you in a subliminal way. These people, the owners of the world, have a business. And they tell you things in a subliminal way. They tell you, and you have to listen to them when they're telling you. They tell you a word, you listen to the word. Like right now, ladies and gentlemen, this guy from Pennsylvania Avenue. This guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, ladies and gentlemen. You know it. You know the dollar today buys you a penny. I think you're giving them too much, 3 pennies. It buys you a penny today. But anyway, going back to the gentleman from Pennsylvania Avenue, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, I'll tell you again. I don't care what team you guys are in, blue or red or blue. To me es la misma mierda con diferente peste. To me it's the same shit with different smells. That's all. And I'm going to tell you, that guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, you're not going to believe what he's talking about, ladies. Well, that's unbelievable. Wow, Porsche, woof. That guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, I tell you that he is a businessman. And the only thing that he thinks of the whole day is the dollar sign. Dinero, money, lana, pata, chavo, cuartos, chevitos, mucho chavo, money. That's what he thinks the whole day. And ladies and gentlemen, he's bringing this thing down to all these people that they cannot pay. They're having trouble paying their mortgage. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a mortgage. That when we did our house, we did it for 15 years. That was a long time ago, right? You got 15-year mortgage. You got 30-year mortgage. And ladies and gentlemen, he's coming in with his, if you don't know about this, listen to you. So tomorrow morning at work, you can tell your friends. He is saying now that he wants to put in the law, en la ley de los bancos, in the banks, he wants to put You know, we already have 15, we're already 30, and he doesn't want to put 40. No, he doesn't want to put 40. He wants to put 50 years. 50 years so it can make it easier on Americans that they're never going to finish paying the house ever in their life, 50 years, so you can pay your house. But the mortgage is going to drop all the way down, all the way down. You understand? It's crazy. You know what I'm trying to say. Sorry, help me out. But help me out, sorry. Let me drink some jungle juice while you help me out. Because I'm trying to explain to these people what's happening, but they still want to go see Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. They still want to go see the Walrus Fat Bastard. They still want to go see the Hungry Hippo, Mr. Magoo. They still want to hang out with the two Toddler Body brothers, the two Jehovah Witness brothers, Big Pun and Heavy D. That's what they like because they're a bunch of sandbags and crumb bums, That's why. And me, what do I get for telling you the truth? Nothing. Jungle juice. Exact. Coño, you see that? I like that, Wicked. And Wicked, if you look what Mr. Wicked, one of our organic Watch House subscribers, what he just finished putting down. People don't give a hoot. They just want to have a house. It's my house. And this guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, papi, where credit is due, credit is due. He's thinking, let's give these palomos, because these people, they see us like, sandbags, crumb bums, cow tippers, possum kickers, crayon eaters, tomato cans. They don't care. That's how they see us. Give those people 50 years so they can get rotten living. You're going to get rotten living in the house. 50 years, You're never going to finish paying it. You're going to leave this world and it was never yours, It was never yours. You thought it was, you were just managing it, but it was never yours, Thank you. Thank you, Zodi, for repeating that. These people need to read what Zodi just wrote down because he's a man of vision. He's a man that understands what I'm saying. Papi, this is crazy. 50 years, that Michiganer, that Michiganer from Pennsylvania Avenue is saying now, and let me tell you, and everybody's going, wow, 50 years. Why didn't I think about that? That's crazy. Why didn't Hawaii? Nobody's the owner there of nothing. Nothing. Why didn't I think about that? Because, porque son unos palomos. This guy's a businessman. Let's give these people 50 years. You buy a house when you're 35 years old and you finance it for 50 years. At 50 years, you'll be 85 years old. You'll be throwing farts all over the place. With all due respect, I'm saying that, But that's what it is. And you ask yourself, is the situation bad? Well, coño, I'm telling you, I'm showing you something right there. There's no money. So the man is smart. The man knows already that the big kaboom is coming, right? The big kaboom is coming. Not right now, not next year, but the real big kaboom is coming. So they say, you know what? Let's get these people ready so we could, and 15 years is too long, right? Exactly. And 15 years is too long. So imagine 15, 30, and now going to 50 years. Pero papi, todo es the Bilderbergers salute. They say we cannot take no more inventory. So let's make it easy for these people. Let's make it easy. And how is it going to be easy, sir? We're going to give them 50 years. But sir, we already have 30 years. No. We're going to give them 50. And that's what it is. They don't have a problem with that. I don't know. Zodi, maybe Zodi can help me out. If you have a mortgage at 30 years, or all of you out there, if you have a mortgage of 30 years, and they give you now 50 years, let's say you're paying $3,000, right? At 30 years, you're paying $3,000 a mortgage. If they give you 50 years now, how much would it drop from the $3,000? Can anybody tell me that? Just tell me that. I don't know too much about that real estate stuff. How much is that? You know, if it's you're paying 30 years, $3,000 a month, but now they're giving you 50 years. How much would it drop? That's what I want to know. That's what that guy is doing. Okay, so they 3,000 is getting kind of strong for them. Let's give them now a 50-year. It'll drop. I don't know how much because I don't know about it, but I'm sure it's something that's really going to help you out. It's really going to help you out. And that's what that guy is doing. But they're telling you that everything is beautiful. And they're doing this, wow, $1,500. Papi, $1,500. You're living like a king. You're living like I don't want to use this word, but I'm going to have to say it. You're living like a socialist. You're living like a socialist, yeah, babe. That's it. You took off already $1,500. That's crazy. I don't know. Somebody said 15. I'm repeating what they said. But what I'm trying to say is they are getting prepared. Going to pay 400 over the 400%. Una locura. But like somebody said before, sorry, people don't care. They just want to have a house. They don't care. They don't care. Forget about, listen to me. In my time, my father would tell me, Papi. He would tell me. I'm Papi, I'm his son. Son, what you need to do here, this is the American great dream. Having your own property. That word, the American dream, se fue pa' casa el carajo. It doesn't exist no more. If that 50 years, and let me tell you, they're selling it. They're selling it in every network. They're selling it. 50 years. But the reason they're doing that is because they know that the big kaboom is coming. And what are they going to do with all this inventory again with the banks? They're going to have to bail them out. They're going to have to bail out the banks. They're going to have, Papi, if you start talking about, when you start talking about stimulus checks of $2,000 per person, are they telling you things are good? You know, if the government giving free money, $2,000, at the long run, you're going to have to pay it back. Somewhere you're going to pay it back. You know, gas, taxes, you're going to pay back those $2,000. But the government is sending out $2,000. It's telling you, Bobby, things are rotten out there, man. Things are rotten out there. You know, I'm letting you guys with that other subject so you know how we get, you know, to see. Exactly. Thank you. And, you know, I have to be very careful because they're going to throw a thunder lightning to the TV antenna and it's going to go off. And Kino today he had a couple of Budweisers and he's not feeling well today, you know? He's there. He's not even listening to me. I can say what I want. But I'm telling you what it is. Is that 50 years? Do you think that 50 years will someday come in effect? Being at 50 years, man. 50 years. It's crazy. 50 years. But let's keep on talking about other things because we got that out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you where this shutdown is at. It's crazy where this shutdown is at. You know? It's crazy. Not because I care about any of those, you know, political teams. No. I'm thinking about the people around our country. You know, it's crazy. People already moving around. People already started traveling already for the Thanksgiving vacation. People take a couple of weeks off in that month of November, you know, to go be with mom and dad, the sister, the cousin, the armed forces, gentlemen that came back, you know, grandson, nephew, brother, you know, they're already flying. And ladies and gentlemen, flight cancellations continue to pile up under FAA order. FAA order. Pile up, you know, pile up. You know, this is crazy, you know? You know, it's unbelievable that the air traffic controllers we're not going to go to work. And then the other guy from Pennsylvania Avenue is telling them, you know, you guys don't come back. You're not real Americans. You're not helping us, you know? I'm just telling you what he says. I'm not saying that I disagree or I agree. Eso a mí no me importa. What I'm trying to say is, ladies and gentlemen, air traffic controllers are playing for keeps. They're playing for keeps. Ladies and gentlemen, today, today, over 2,300 flights were canceled. They're telling us that did the shutdown finish already, ladies and gentlemen? Did we finish the shutdown? Is the shutdown over? I don't think so, right? Because if you have air controllers that don't want to control no more the airs, I don't think that, this has, a finish. I think it's still going on. So, we have a lot of things happening in our country, and I'm gonna say around the world, because everybody's dollar around the world is frogged up. Everybody's dollar around the world is frogged up. After 60 days, you can find, and that's the notice. Remember, you're fired. You for real? He can fire them after 60 days. You're fired, and that's it. You're gone. Goodbye. Super caution, do not be around like a political football. Wow, serious job, man. Wow. And to me, see that? I don't know too much, but I know that air traffic controllers is a big thing, Papi. You don't play with that. And this is why that guy said to them, when I read that, he said, you're not good Americans if you don't go back over there to work and control, Pan American, control Eastern Airlines, those airlines, you're not no more. And those people also control, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I don't know if, I don't know about those, the Army, Air Force, how does that work too? If it's the same controller for Air Force, it's the same controller for, commercial flights. I don't know too much about that, but what I'm trying to say, esto está que pica. Esto está que pica, papi. This is not a good thing. This is not a good thing. Things are very, very, very bad, Stress. Wow, man. By a stress controller. Wrote that down, man. Wow. That was very, very well said, Brian. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, somebody's going to go there arrebatado con una botella de, a bottle of Blue Label. Oh, go this way over here, fly that way. Papi, I don't know. I don't know, but I believe they're playing for keeps. But did somebody say that after 60 days, the air traffic controllers couldn't get fired? Did I understand that? I want to repeat that, after 60 days, they can take full power and say, hey, we don't need you here no more. But if that's true, that they told them you're fired, like you're fired, where are they going to find where they're going to find the other, 300 that they fired? They in school, how do they do this? You fired 300, now you need 300 now with experience. Life or death, wow, bro. It truly is a life and death person. Wow. You're dropping knowledge there, Brian. I'm telling you, you're touching my heart. Wow. Wow, Ronald Reagan did it. But okay, one more time, Zodi, he did it. So how do we replace the 1,000 traffic controllers we fire? How do we do that? I won't get on a plane. See that? I won't get on a plane. A lady said those exact words. I will never get back in a plane. AI, wow. It's vicious what's going on, and everybody is just skip hopping around through life, and they're talking about that this shutdown is gonna end and I thought today, Wednesday, was the day that decided that they were gonna end the shutdown. What happened? Anything? Something else happened? Can anybody explain? Throw me a little comment there, because I thought it was Wednesday. That's it. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you can feel those effects, man, of the shutdown. I'm telling you, it's getting scary. It's getting very, very scary. And this is why you see that gold is behaving the way it's behaving. That's why you see silver that is behaving the way it's behaving, and so on and so on, because things are out of whack. Look at the comments you guys have just put down. That's a very stressful job. People don't want to go there stressed out of their mind. People are saying now that they don't want to get back on a plane somebody put their AI, tú sabes. Man, so then it's tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow, supposedly tomorrow, the shutdown ends. Bobby, it has to happen already because man, it's just getting out of control. And I'm with the person that said I'm not gonna fly in a plane. I'm not gonna fly in a plane because, and also somebody said that Ronald Reagan did it when he was in power as president. He fired the air traffic controllers. I think I remember about that. Get out, you're gone. But we started. Saludos, Renato. Saludos. So we have this situation going on with some people don't think that the air traffic controllers, it's nothing big, and it's a real big thing, man. So many things can happen, but I'm just scared that if tomorrow they don't come to a conclusion to finish the shutdown and open up the shutdown, it's just guys, there's too many things happening, man. If you look at it, you go, there's no way in the world. Too many things are happening, at least in our country. We have a lot of people. They're talking about that they're gonna, I have an airport right next to my house. I do. I have an airport right next to my house, right? I have an airport, but still, I feel that nothing good is gonna come out of this. I feel that nothing good is gonna come out of this. I feel that a lot of I don't know if I could use the word sabotaje, pero it's. You see, listen to what this man just put is the equivalent. Air traffic controllers is the equivalent to a police. To police directing traffic. Hold on. This is not a game, man. And we think it's only here, at least in my backyard in Miami. Papi, this is all over the United States. And he also said, and I don't know if it was to them, but I'm going to say this last thing that I heard. I know a little bit about watches, but I'm a 35-year aircraft. Wow. You had zero concern. Okay, Papa. Okay. All right. Right. Okay. I don't know. He said that the ones, if somebody had a report back to work and he said these words, and I didn't catch what it was. Maybe you guys can help me out with this. He said that the people that go back to work, there was a $10,000 bonus. Can anybody clarify that for me? $10,000 bonus. You go back to work, you got $10,000 because you went back. You're not a scab. Me voy para allá. So I don't know what's gonna happen, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to just give you that rundown one more time so you know what's going on. I'm gonna give you now what you guys have been waiting for. I gave you already what gold, the way precious materials are looking. I talked to you about, the 50 years. Damon, you need to hear this. I need to ask you a question, Damon. Do you agree that we have 15 years of mortgage, 30 years of mortgage? And the gentleman from Pennsylvania Avenue, one more time, he wants to put in effect 50 years of mortgage, And one of our organic subscribers says something which is perfect. People don't care. They just want to have a house. They don't care if they're ever going to pay it off or not, Tú sabes, esto es lo que hay. I need some jungle juice because I don't feel good today. You're right, Soli. I don't feel good, They don't care. That's right, Wicked. You're the one that said it. Bad idea. Okay, you see, this is the first one I see that wrote down bad idea. So, Brad, give me the reason why you're saying it's a bad idea in a short sentence. I'm not sure about 50 years. Wow. That's two right there. I'm not sure. Pero, papi, they're making sure, the owners of the world making sure that you're going to continue paying them their interest. That's what they care about. You're going to be a slave for 50 years. Pay my interest. That's all. Correcto, Renato. Correcto. It's what it is. It's a crazy thing, They'll never pay it off. But they're getting the juice. And that's what they care about. Papi, that guy in Pennsylvania Avenue, the only thing he thinks about the whole day is the dollar sign. And he knows that the kaboom is here. He knows that the kaboom is here. You're just gonna be watching the house. You're gonna be watching the house for them, and you're gonna pay me interest every month. The grass isn't looking so green. It's not, man. But it's good because this is how you know already. That because people think saludos Thurston Howell the third. People think that I have money. No, papi. It's the whole United States. Está descojonado. Descojonado. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, somebody showed me a word here today that the air traffic controllers are like the policemen's giving, traffic control with the cars, and all that stuff. I'm only repeating what I learned from you guys because you guys are smarter than me. I don't know too much. Yo soy un lambón. But, I agree with that. Now I understand the traffic controller is like with the police officer. Move up. Move it out. That way, It's unbelievable. But that's how it is. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, esto está cabrón. Esto está cabrón. Things are getting... Somebody said on our channel that tomorrow is the day. I thought it was today that the shutdown was going to be over. They were going to wave over. And that's it. But somebody said that no. It's tomorrow. Do you honestly believe that tomorrow's the day, folks? You guys believe that tomorrow is the day that the shutdown will open up? Or we're still going to be flim-flammed and hoodwinked by these hucksters, Está feo. Yeah, está feo. I hope so. Yeah. No, look at that. Brad said no. And this is, está loco. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you, that 50-year one, I know that Damon said that he doesn't feel too good about it. I think somebody else said it too. Brand said it too. But you know what? People don't care. They just want to have a house. They want to have a property. They want to have a property. Somebody told me this. Again, before I go to the watch market update. If you're paying $3,000 a month on a 30-year mortgage, and they move that 30-year mortgage with the $3,000 to a 50-year mortgage, how much money, because somebody said a number and I still don't believe it, how much money would that drop? You're paying 30 years, $3,000 a month. If you go to the 50 years, how much you going to pay now? I'm not jodiendo, brother. It's money. It'll drop. And that's what that guy from Pennsylvania Avenue is saying. This is what I have in plan for these people. Papi, don't think for a moment. Don't think for a moment, because I gotta say this, because I have to say it. Don't think for a moment that the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue came up with guessing about $1,500, papi. 15, that's half, man. You know how many cans of spam you can buy? White rice and eggs and beans with $1,500? But don't think for a moment. This is the punchline. Don't think for one moment that Pennsylvania Avenue came with that idea. No. Salud Diao. Salud Diao, papi. Over there. Told that Meshuggah to say this already now. He doesn't know nothing. Tell him we're going to do this now. Because these people are going to finish the country when this goes belly up. Papi, they don't know where to put cars away no more. They're picking up cars. Here in Miami, in the city that I live, is gross. We are number one in buying brand new cars. We're number one in selling new cars. A BMW 7 Series. And you're working for, as a teller in a bank. You're working in nothing wrong working as a teller. It's unbelievable. It's a good job. You're driving a 5 Series Audi, delivering pizza with your Audi. Papi doesn't make, no da, papi, no da. You know? No da. I mean, 300 a month, but you can pay in addition of 500 after. Wow, man. It's crazy, guys. I hope you guys understood what I'm trying to say. Maybe I'm not the best explainer, but I try my best. You know, es una jodienda. What's happening is, and you know, and some people are saying that that's dangerous. The part of dangerous, I still don't have it. I don't have it down pat, but they're saying some people that that is dangerous. You know, that 50 year. I think it's dangerous because you're gonna leave this world and you're never gonna see that place paid off. You know, you got people today buying houses when they're 45 years old. 50-year mortgage, you're 95 years old. You know, te tira los pelos por el ombligo. You don't know what I say? You Google it. I'm not going to tell you. And neither is Sweet Kid Kino. We're not going to tell you. But we are going to give you a watch market update. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with this, all right? Let's get it on. Comments being shadow banned. Wow. Mine's? Our comments? Yes, no, there's going to be no wealth for no kids. You missed the boat. That's right. At some point, you'll miss the boat. Yeah, it's dangerous, guys. I'm going to give you a watch market update. And we'll keep on talking about this as we go with the watch market, you know? Here it goes. Our first watch, ladies and gentlemen, is an AP Royal Oak Blue Dial. AP Royal Oak Blue Dial Jumbo, reference number 15202, 39 millimeter. You know, saludos, Marty, saludos. Saludos to all of you. 39 millimeter. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch in that Corona era, I know people that purchased that watch for $150,000. They were promised that watch was going to be, you know, a $250,000 watch. The retail price of that watch is $15,700. And I'm going to tell all of you, you know, with the biggest pain in my heart, don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch. No, Wicked, you're giving away too much money away. Don't pay for that watch more than $53,000 in dropping, all right? This is the 15202, 39 millimeter, extra thin, $15,700 is the retail. Don't pay more than $53,000. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is an AP Royal Oak stainless steel 41 millimeter blue dial, 15,500. 15,500 with a beautiful blue dial. Retail price of that watch is $27,800. And do yourself a favor and save your money. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more. You do whatever you want. If you have cash, you are the king of the conversation, papi. Tú eres el más que mea. If you have cash, tú eres el más que mea. And let me tell you, at least where I do business, they even respect that. They even tell you, bravo brand, bravo Aquiles. They even tell you, Nieves, we respect that. You have the money and you're willing to buy. These business people are so shrewd, they'll tell you, because they're smart, you have the money and you can argue all you want and you're willing to buy. And let me tell you, I'm not going to say that I do whatever I want with them, but I get the price that I want. Not in watches, in what I do for a living. Don't pay for that stainless steel blue dial 15,500, 41 millimeter. Don't pay more than $36,000 in dropping. So remember, cash is king. We have a lot of people that are embarrassed, you know, to, you know, express what they want to say. Papi, lo más lindo del mundo es ser así. I got all this cash here, bro. That's all. Okay, I go. You keep on walking. That's it. Cash is king. Cash will control the conversation all day, every day. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold. Remember this, AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold 39 millimeter with a smoke dial. I call this watch in a sweet way. I call it the James LeBron, you know, the James LeBron, you know? You're very welcome, Papi. You're very welcome, Wicked. The James LeBron. Reference number 16202 with the letter BA. B as in boy, A as in apple. Ladies and gentlemen, the retail price of that watch is $89,100. And I'm going to tell all of you, all of you, don't pay for that watch more. And it's dropping, ladies and gentlemen. It's dropping. So be very, very careful. None of these platforms that you're looking at, none of these platforms that you're looking at, I'm going to give you permission. They're not telling you the truth. They're not telling you the truth. They are all in the payroll. They are all getting greased up. Hold it there. Hold it there. How much you need? How much you need? Here, hold it there. How much you need? Hold it there. You still don't get that? Do you get it? Yes or no? Hold it there. No, I can't because how much? Oh man, with 2 G's we're quiet. Okay, boom, here. Hold it there. Okay? I didn't say no names. You play with the names. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that beautiful AP Royal Oak 39mm smoked dial. James LeBron 16202BA. Retail price $89,100. Don't pay more. Exactly. Don't pay more. And I'm going to just say, don't pay more than $115,000. You do whatever you want. Don't believe these people are artificially holding it up. I told you already who they are, and I'm going to tell you, if you want to look at somebody that's, puts prices there, they're crazy up and down, is that the other one, BA, Bay-E. Look at Bay-E. I'm not telling you to buy nothing there. I'm telling you to look at that. Because you're going to see people there that, the truth, and then you're going to see the liar. The truth and the liar. And what I mean by that, no, it's not 23 Quano. No. Bay-E. Put the letter Bay-E. You know what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Play with the letter. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn another watch here. An AP Royal Oak Rose Gold. AP Royal Oak Rose Gold 41mm ultra thin. Tourbillon pink gold. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this watch. Listen to this watch. Oh, you did? Okay, Thurston, congratulations. I'm sure they're going to look good on you, Baba. I'm sure they are. This is a beautiful watch. This is an AP Royal Oak Rose Gold 41mm ultra thin tourbillon. This watch in the Corona era, Papa, it was a mammoth watch. You were talking about high, 300, $400,000. Has a retail price of $191,000. 191000. And I'm going to tell all of you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a monster watch. This is the watch you put onto the beach, with a pair of flip-flops, a t-shirt, and a pair of shorts, cut-off jean shorts, and the mommies throw their, te tiran las panties cagadas. Te la tiran. Here, take my panties, Don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. You do yourself a favor. Don't pay for that watch more than $156,000. Under. Eso es así, Renato. Te la tiran de gratis. Te la tiran, papá. Coge. And you're walking around the streets like this. So, ladies and gentlemen, here goes another one. This is an AP Royal Oak Rose Gold 41mm double balance wheel. Open work, ladies and gentlemen. It's an unbelievable watch, Unbelievable. Double balance wheel. This is crazy. These people with these watches, you say to yourself, hey, man, how do they do this? The retail price of this watch is $101,000. 101. Right, exactly, that's it. The 15407, papi. You're on target, Papa. That's good. And ladies and gentlemen, how much am I going to tell you not to pay for that watch? Because that watch was another one that was all the way up. It was all the way up. All the way up. All the way up, Papa. And I'm going to tell you, no, that watch is still. See, that watch, this double balance wheel, is still holding real hard. You're going to be surprised, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, because I think you're not hearing me. AP Royal Oak, Rose Gold, 41mm, double balance wheel, open work, Open work, 41, rose gold, pink gold, whatever you want to call it. This watch is still holding, and it still has some meat, some heavy meat left on the bone. I told you the retail price is 101, 100. Don't pay more than $174,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Now, here goes another one. This is the brother of the one that's rose gold. This is the stainless steel, 15407. 15407 stainless steel. The first one I just gave you was rose gold, pink gold. This one is stainless steel, okay? Stainless steel, double balance wheel, open work. Retail price is $80,200. What's the price of that watch? Come on, let me hear you now. What's the price? This is stainless steel, not rose gold. Stainless steel has the same movement, just different metals. Okay, Brand. Anybody else? One more. Nobody knows. Here it goes. 110. Okay, here it goes. Okay, Chris. 110. Don't pay for that watch, and I mean don't pay for that watch more than $129,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want, you know? That reference number, the 15407 in rose gold, pink gold, and stainless steel, those watches are still holding hard, okay? Still holding hard. And I'm going to say, yes, they are holding hard still. They really are. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak stainless steel 39 millimeter, reference number 16202. Steel. This is a steel one with a blue dial. You know, extra thin. Retail price of that watch is $37,900. $37,900. I got to tell you, you know, where credit is due, credit is due. And this watch came out a few years ago, and this watch is still there fighting in a number. Does anybody know what price? No, Achilles, you went too high on that watch, on that watch, on the 16202 steel with a blue dial. And the retail price, again, for all of you again out there, is $37,900. Okay, Brand, you're on fire. Brand is on fire. Brand is on fire. Don't pay for that watch, all of you. For all of you, don't pay for that watch more than $62,000 in dropping. All right? Good job there, Chris. Don't pay more than $62,000. All right? Our next watch is another AP Royal Oak yellow gold 39 millimeter. Listen to this. AP Royal Oak yellow gold 39 millimeter. Reference number 16204. The letters B as in boy, A as in apple, jumbo. You know, open work. This is unbelievable, this watch, you know. It's all yellow gold. Even the skeleton, you can see everything is yellow gold, but it's a 39 millimeter, okay? 39 millimeter. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell all of you, because this watch is a boutique edition, you know, a boutique edition. But this watch, when it first came out, listen to this one because it's very important for you guys. When it came out like 4 months ago, 5 months ago, that watch was going for $215,000. You know, $215,000. Thank you very much, Mike, for the reminder. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was $215,000. Okay, that watch, that, you know, that 39 millimeter open work, you know, yellow gold, 16202. You know, it's unbelievable, this watch. You know, 16204 BA. I'm gonna tell all of you so you understand where this is going. 4 months. 215, look where we're going to now. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. Wow, very good, Frankie Rizzo. Very, very, very good. Very good, Frankie Rizzo. Very, very good. Don't pay for that watch more than $162,000. 162,215. All the way down. Papi, that's it. You know, no wine, papi, no wine. But I'm going to give you something else here now that you're going to go, wow. And I've talked to you about this watch in many different formats. Oyster Flex, you know, a Jubilee bracelet, Oyster bracelet, right? We're talking about a Rolex yellow gold Sky Dweller 42 millimeter with a green dial. You know, green dial. Only this one is not Oyster Flex and this one is not a Jubilee. It's an Oyster bracelet, you know? Oyster bracelet, Jubilee, Oyster. Oyster Flex, right? This watch, ladies and gentlemen, it was partying up there. Yes, that is the reference number. No, the 336938. Please forgive me. 336938. That's the one. $75,000, $80,000. And I told everybody, I said, that watch is gonna drop faster than Bill Clinton's pants. Don't worry about it. And the Jubilee is right behind them. And the Oyster Flex is dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in our Arkansas farmhouse. But ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Oyster bracelet. Do yourself a favor and don't pay for that beautiful Rolex Sky Dweller 4457. Who wrote 57? Achilles, he you know what? He put 57,500. Watch my number. $58,000. $58,000. Congratulations to you, Achilles, and I'm gonna give you a bell. Ding, 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 ding. You got it, Papa. You got it. You hit it right in the nose. Bang! Don't pay more than that. It's what it is, Papi. It's what it is. It's what it is. It's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a Vacheron Constantin Overseas Rose Gold 6000V/110R B733 Tourbillon. Tourbillon, Papi. Tourbillon. Monster watch. Monster watch. Tourbillon, Papa. Tourbillon. Motro reloj. I mean, this watch, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's an embarrassment, the retail price it has, so I'm not even going to repeat it. I'm not even going to repeat it because it's disgusting, but I am going to tell, Papa, this is a rose gold tourbillon, you know, from Vacheron Constantin, one of the elites. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay. The 6000V/110R. Don't pay for that watch more than $102,000. You know, look for the retail. Look for the retail. You're gonna go, wow, man, wow. And if you go to, let's say here in Miami, if you go to a Vacheron Constantin boutique, they still have the velvet rope in front of their door with a security guard that weighs 430. You know, in the door, because you know you gotta go in there one by one. And those watches, honestly, if you are looking, if you feel more comfortable buying it from the boutique, from Vacheron Constantin, and paying $100,000 more, you know, for all that, you know, buying it from them, making sure it's the real thing, and giving away $100,000, then that's not a problem. But if you don't like to give $100,000 away, I'm gonna come in their defense and on their side. Buy it from Los Lambones, eso, you know, buy it from them. They have that watch. They don't know what to do with it. It's dead, okay? They don't know what to do with it. It's dead. Beautiful watch. The next one, ladies and gentlemen, is a Vacheron Constantin Overseas White Gold. This is another monster watch. You know, these, if you go back to that Corona era, it was just disgusting, man. You know, it's not even worth talking about Corona era anymore because it was just disgusting. But who knows? A lot of people are hoping for another Corona beer era, you know? And ladies and gentlemen, it might just happen. I'm telling you, if they really give away those $2,000 stimulus checks, then after that, you know what comes after that? El desempleo. ¿Cómo se dice desempleo, Kino? Desempleo. You know, desempleo. Desempleo. How do you say desempleo? You know, when you collect because they fire you or they lay you off, you know? Desempleo. How do you say that in English? Desempleo, you know? No. Unemployment. Coño, what a simple word, man. Unemployment. You know, stimulus check, then unemployment. You know, I'm a small business owner. I'm a subcontractor. Unemployment for you. Then after unemployment, then comes the PPP. And then after the PPP, we're going to give you a couple of SBAs so you behave. And then government grants. It only takes that check to be given out. The stimulus check is what's going to go boom. You know? Y empieza los ratones a correr por todos lados. all the rats will come out of the holes, all the rats, you know, with toothpicks. Where's my 2,000? I'm telling you, papi, hay un bonche de vago en este mundo. Hay un bonche de vago. If you don't understand what I say, you Google it. I'm not going to tell you. The 4300V, white gold, you know, /120G, B945, overseas ultra thin perpetual calendar, monster watch. Monster watch, vagabundo, papá. Vago, 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 vago. Look at me, what I'm doing for free. This is work. I'm doing it for free. You know, Kino does a couple of hours preparing all the paperwork. I do an hour, you know, ando cotorra, you know, give me some parrot to you guys. You know, I'm not getting paid, but I'm working. No soy un vago. I'm helping. Soy un ilustre. I'm helping the people in the world, you know. I'm showing them something. No sean lambón y palomos. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Blue. You want it blue? It's blue, Christopher. It's blue. It's blue for you. Blue for you. And ladies and gentlemen, the retail price of that watch is $111,000. 111000. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you with the biggest pain in my heart. This is, Papi, this is another one you put on and you walk through the park and the beach. You're welcome, Papa. You're welcome, Chris. You're welcome. Wow. After 20, they will give you a 10. Okay. Okay. I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. This is, Papi, this is a beautiful watch. Another one, I got to go. Beautiful watch. Beautiful. Don't pay for that watch. Christopher, how much am I going to turn out to pay for that watch? Has a blue dial, Christopher. How much? Nobody knows? Nobody, huh? Nobody's daring to throw that one there. No takers. No takers. But you got me. I'm a taker. Don't pay for that watch more than $81,500. Papi, and that watch is dropping. That watch, and that watch, all those, when you see that, look at 85. I said 81,500. You guys are on point. Good for you. Good for you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, these are my 3 last watches of the evening, all right? These are my 3 last watches of the evening. Our next watch is a Patek Philippe Cubitus, stainless steel, green dial, 41 millimeter, reference number 5821/1A, with a retail price of $49,791. Does anybody know what you think I'm going to tell you what you should pay for that watch? Nobody knows? Okay. Don't pay for that watch. Be smart. I wouldn't pay it, but I'm telling you what, you know, it is. Coño, that will be unbelievable, Brian, if we can pay for that watch $55,000. The retail is $49,791 plus your taxes. Think about it. Don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for it more than $82,500. You do whatever you want. You know, $82,500. Ladies and gentlemen, okay. Months ago, Fool said, okay, wow. Don't pay for that watch. What I told you on the Cubitus with the green dial, okay? With the green dial. Our next one is a Patek Philippe Cubitus two-tone. Stainless steel with rose gold with a blue dial and a rose gold bezel on it. 5821/1AR with a retail price of $75,114. And I'm going to tell all of you, if you guys don't know, if you guys want to throw a number out there, don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more than $87,000 and dropping, all right? And ladies and gentlemen, this is my last watch of the evening. Here it goes. It's a Patek Philippe Cubitus Platinum. Platinum with a blue jean strap and a blue dial. You know? Dog's Day. Dog's Day. 45 millimeter, reference number 5822 with a retail price of $106,695. I'm going to tell all of you because you need to know this. They're out there asking for this watch. For your information, they're out there asking for they're casting their fishing rods, trying to catch un maranito, un lambón, un palomo. Palomo is a naive. Palomo is naive, somebody naive. You know, $162,000 for that watch. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that Cubitus. I mean, you do whatever you want. It's your money. I understand you guys are loaded and you guys do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $136,000 in dropping. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm telling you what I believe that you should pay if you're thinking to buy it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my watch market update show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about what's happening with air traffic controllers. I hope you heard and you understand what this guy from Pennsylvania Avenue is trying to do. Trying to do a 15-year mortgage, 30-year mortgage. He's trying to make a 50-year mortgage. He's trying to do that. And ladies and gentlemen, what I tell you about gold, gold is, gold is getting ahead of the curve, man. Gold is getting ahead of the curve. So, and gold is climbing, to levels from, October 24th, right, guys? So there it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show and you learned something. Don't forget to please give us a thumbs up, man. Thank you, Damon. Thank you so much, Dame. Give us a thumbs up. It's gonna, continue helping the show. So when I step down, the person that takes my position will have it easier. I'm getting the bone. I'm getting the bone. The bone. The one that's gonna come after me is gonna get the ham. All right. Lo quiero mucho. Bendiciones a todos. Love all of you, man. Stay cool, all of you. Ciao.